you like going to the George Zimmerman trial today?
It was really interesting. I mean, it was our first time being able to get into the trial, and the whole setup was, something that, you can't tell on television. I mean, half the courtroom was set up so that it was media, and the other half of the courtroom was the 25 members of the public whose names got drawn out of the hat. And out of, they said 60-something people, both of us got in. You know what the most fun part about this was for me, don't you?
What?
Norton Bonaparte coming in. I mean,
Yeah.
if it wasn't for Norton Bonaparte, we wouldn't be in part of this process at all. We met Norton Bonaparte in the city hall, and when we met him, Patty Mahaney was there.
Yes.
And they were both so honest and straightforward. We were like, we have to come back with a camera.
And that's the whole start of our documentary. It came from meeting Norton Bonaparte. And then for the very first time we're coming into the George Zimmerman trial, he ends up being called as a witness. That was just amazing. And we talked to him afterward, and he said he had no idea what he was being called in for.
Wasn't that like the shortest testimony you saw on there?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he didn't really have much to say,
And what was the only thing the prosecutor said to him?
You played the 911 tapes for the family because it was the decent thing to do.
And Norton Bonaparte said yes.
Yes.
That was it. Because it was a decent thing to do. Like, what's the point of that? It seems like the defense was trying to create witnesses, so it sounds like they have a defense, when the only defense is that after George Zimmerman did not identify himself as Neighborhood Watch, and he followed this guy to a creepy, dark place, and because the guy beat him up, then he has a right to shoot him.
It was really something that when Trayvon saw him, that he asked him a question first. He didn't just, pick up a brick or whatever and beat him over the head. There was an opportunity for there to be a conversation, but George Zimmerman did not take that opportunity.
Would Trayvon really want this creepy guy following him in the dark to his place?
Exactly. Knowing where he lived when this creep has been following him for 5+ minutes.
5 minutes is a long time to be followed. 1 minute is a long time to be followed.
Exactly. Because when you're being followed, you can kind of sense it. And you start looking around, because that's the thing
He
too.
said he was looking
You
around.
look around because you want this person to realize that you are aware of your surroundings.
That I see you looking at me.
Exactly. And then after he was looking around, then he said, oh, and now he's just staring straight at me. Well, yeah, he wants you to know, look, I know you're looking at me.
I know you're following me.
I know you're following me.
So you can't sneak up on me. And that's the reason I would do that.
That's why you do that. You don't want the person to think that they can sneak up on you.
Absolutely. Generally, I'm glad we went to court, because we got to see the environment. We got to see the jurors.
Yes.
So
that's probably one of the greatest benefits of being in the courtroom, is that we actually get to see the jurors, because of course they're hidden from the public.
And we got to see their reaction. So they didn't look stupid. They were very attentive.
Very attentive. I was definitely happy to see that they were attentive. They seemed like they were really engaged in the process. And, we did see some head nodding here and there.
I really would think that people who knew nothing about the George Zimmerman case weren't really doing too much. But these people were really wide awake. I was impressed with them.
Engaged, even leaning forward, looking at the evidence, trying to make sure that they really and truly completely understood it. So, definitely.
But I couldn't read the jurors. You can't tell what they're thinking. They were, very, very, very non-animated, but just paying attention. Mm-hmm. And so your guess is as good as mine as what they're thinking. But
yeah, and probably even as good as the public who's never seen him.
So I'm hoping for the best, and we'll see what happens. If the prosecution makes it clear that the only issue is that George Zimmerman initiated a fight, and then when he started losing, he decided he had the right to shoot somebody, then things will go the right way. But it seems like no matter what, George Zimmerman is going to have to serve some time, because he did initiate the aggressive behavior. What do you think?
I think that it looks like George Zimmerman is going to serve time. I don't know whether or not the jury is going to convict him of second-degree murder. Personally, I think he should be. I don't know if they're going to convict him of that or a lesser charged, but I do think he's going to have to serve some time because it's pretty clear that he followed this guy for several minutes and even got out of his car. And had he not done those things, and had he listened to the operator when he was on the phone, and had he done what he was told to do, then none of this would have even happened. And Trayvon even gave him the opportunity to end the whole thing, but he didn't take any of these opportunities. He didn't take any opportunity to not escalate the situation into what it became.
Exactly.